All right, the question today is, could you talk about friends and family finding out about your profession, or if anyone you knew came into the club that you worked at and how you handled it? That's one of her biggest fears right now, and any tips on being discreet if I have any. So I'll start off with saying when I turned 18, I moved away from my hometown to an area where I didn't know anyone. So my biggest tip on being discreet, depending on how serious you want to be about this, is go to a different city. Because to do it in your own city, you never know who's going to walk in the door. The odds of it could be highly unlikely, but it could definitely still happen. Now, if you have specific people you're concerned about finding out, maybe you should think of like what they do for work, or is this somebody that would be open to going to a club on a day shift? Maybe you could work days instead of nights. Just a random thought. Shortly after I started working in Florida, I started to make a lot of friends, and I didn't hide my job at all, and I told them that I was a stripper if anyone asked. Ultimately, that made me money, because apparently my guy friends, some of them wanted to come in and get dances from me. None of them would have ever told me that, but they showed up drunk and would get dances, and eventually one of them would tell me, "We only came in to see you, by the way." So it made me extra money, so I can't complain. A little while later, a couple of my friends from my hometown came in to visit, though, and I took them to my job. They were friends of mine that I'd had since I was a kid. I would have thought that they would have respected me enough to not tell everybody I fucking knew that I was stripping. So I took them into my job, showed them around. I wasn't working or anything, but I left. The next time I went back to my hometown, I went out to eat with a girl that I used to play volleyball with, and she goes, "So, what are you doing for work down in Florida?" And I looked at her suspicious, and I said, "Why do you ask it like that?" And she goes, "Oh, nothing. I just heard," and then she gave this long pause, and I said, "You just heard what?" And she goes, "Well, no, I can't tell you." And I said, "Hey, you're talking about my life. If someone's spreading rumors about me, I would like to know." And so she told me that one of the guys that came down to visit me was telling everybody that I used to play volleyball with about it. And it was a big group of people. I was really angry at first. And then I decided I'm never talking to him ever again. So I wasn't living there when all these people found out. But to be honest, it really didn't matter to me. It was more upsetting to me that the guy that I thought was my friend would go and tell other people. That is something that is kind of concerning, or can be concerning if you're worried about people knowing. People like to gossip. I think that is such a ridiculous waste of time and energy and life. If someone judges you negatively for things that you're doing that aren't harming anyone or anything, do you really want to be associated with that person? To be clear, I want you to know I never lied about my work to anyone. I really believed if someone was going to judge me based on that, they were just closed-minded, and I really didn't care to have them in my life. But I want to let you know, I can't think of a single time, not one time, that I got a negative reaction to telling people what I did for work. Even people that I thought for sure were going to judge me. Other girls mostly I thought were going to be judgmental, but their reactions were always like, "Oh my God, tell me about your job." It was more of a fascination than a disgust. I never got a gross look or a judgmental look, not a single time ever that I can think about. So surprisingly, there was no judgment. Now for my parents, it was a little bit different. So my parents came down to visit my sister and I in Florida, and me, her, and my ex-boyfriend, when we used to get high, we used to write down all kinds of business ideas and anything that would make us laugh while we were stoned. And apparently we wrote a lot about stripper business ideas in there. And my parents found that book. And I was in the gym with my dad, and he randomly asked, "So your mother and I found this book." And he said something about strippers. I don't remember exactly what he said. And I looked at him and I said, "Dad, it is nothing like you think it is." And he goes, "Oh, so you do it?" And I was like, oh my God, I just gave myself away. And then I said, "Yeah, but me and then I said my sister's name. I said, "But we don't do anything that." And he goes, "Your sister does too?" And I was like, she's gonna kill me. Like, I just gave away both of us. Like, it was crazy because he didn't even really know, and I totally just gave us away. And his reaction was, "Who am I to judge you for how you make money?" I was in complete shock. I mean, both my parents were Christian. Like, I was really shocked. I'll admit, like, in that moment, I knew I could tell my dad anything in the world. My mom, on the other hand, we didn't tell her. I wanted to for a really long time, and my sister, my brother, and my dad all begged me not to because they really believed she would have a heart attack and die. so I didn't tell her. And then last year, I joined an accountability group where we were all talking about things that we knew we needed to do. And me telling my mom about that came up. So I told her, and I couldn't believe her reaction. I mean, hardcore Christian lady, like no anger, no seeming disappointment. I really think I got lucky with her, but she did tell me that she was happy that I wasn't still doing it. Now, I did tell her recently that I was thinking about getting back into it. And again, still no disappointment. She just told me to please be careful. Now, that's not going to be every parent's reactions. I think there's an easy way to tell people about things. I don't know your family, I don't know how that way could be for your family, but I do believe that there's a way to tell everybody basically almost anything. Unless you go and do something super bad to somebody, which stripping is not doing anything bad to anybody. So people that get angry at you for doing something like that is absolutely absurd, and it's none of their fucking business. So if someone would judge you or get mad at you for something like that, why would you want them in your life? When it comes to family, it's obviously a little bit different. I think it's always best to be transparent and not lie to people, because really that can come back and get you, and then it's twofold. Then it's you were lying and you were doing something that they don't approve of. Instead, you could just go straight to what they don't approve of, and at least you're not gonna deal with both aspects of that, which is harder. I truly believe is a lot harder. Now, I will say a way that I did hide it from my mom for so long, and again, I wouldn't have done it if my parents or if my sister and my whole family, except for my mom, didn't think that it would kill my mom. I would have told her a long time earlier, and I still wish I had, but it's too late. So one way I did hide it from her, though, was I got side jobs, and when she would ask me about work, I would tell her about those. Now, even those side jobs, I don't think most people would actually approve of. They consisted of things like having guys buy me in at a casino, and I would play poker and keep all the money, the buy-in and whatever I made. I love to play poker, so that was always so much fun for me. And I even dated for money. And I told my mom, I said, you would be shocked that there are really rich men that just want company and are willing to pay for it. And I would go out with these guys and have a great time and get paid. I am assuming she suspected I wasn't doing anything quote unquote wrong. I think my parents just know I value my body too much to do things like sleep with guys for money. It would ruin my sex life. Sleeping with guys for money would just ruin my sex life. So I can't give you a very specific answer unless I get a very specific question. So I hope that helps. I hope that wasn't a little bit too broad. If it didn't help, let me know. Ask more specifically. And thank you for the question. And if anyone else has any questions, if anyone else is curious about any stripper insight, I will make a video for you. So stay positive for now, you guys, and I will talk to you next time.